Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy DisBearity here, and I'm back with some more Total War news. So apparently today, Total War dropped a video on the new dev chat, DLC, patches, and betas. And so I'm actually excited to go ahead and check this out. But so before we do, definitely consider liking and subscribing, y'all. If y'all been enjoying my channel, I'm all about RTS games, real-time strategy, turn-based strategy, JRPG, so on and so forth. So, but I like to give out news on games that I enjoy. So let's go ahead and hop into this video. I'm excited, y'all. Like, honestly.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Coleman, Senior Community Manager on Total War, and once again I am joined by some of our wonderful Warhammer 3 dev team to talk a little bit about patches, betas, and a little bit more.
All right.
I'm joined by Will, and I am also joined, through the magic of magic,
All right, do online video
from our Sofia studio in Bulgaria. So let's do quick introductions. Will, let's start with you. If you just tell us who you are, what you do, and some things you've worked on.
Righto. I'm William Hoekstad, and I'm a Warhammer 3 DLC designer.
Okay.
I've worked at the company for 5-6 years roughly, working on mostly mainline DLC for Warhammer 3.
Okay.
Recently, my focus has been primarily on our patching efforts, the interim content, the .x patches, 5.3, 5.2, 6.1, which is hopefully in your hands by now, and making those extra bits of content to tide you over while you wait for our more major releases.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. And now I'll throw over to Sofia. Vasil, how about you?
Hey, so my name is Vasil, and I've been working as a lead DLC designer over Warhammer DLC projects. And I've been with CA for a while now, for a few years back, and I'm very excited to join the Warhammer team.
Thank you. And Rado, how about you?
Yes, hello. My name is Radoslav.
This guy right here, honestly, the way how he's sitting, he's just a chill guy, man.
I'm a principal tech
I just want
designer
to say that.
on Total War. I've recently joined the DLC team after finishing up with Total War Pharaoh, and now I'm working with various people on both patching efforts and DLC efforts.
Great, thank you guys, and thank you for joining us today. But for now, I'm going to send you back into the ether.
Damn.
Impressive.
That actually is pretty low-key funny, though.
Oh no, they're still there! We'll come back to you in a little bit. We're just going to chat with Will about the patches. So, patch 6.1 has just recently dropped for Warhammer 3, bringing with it some refreshes for Kislev, Tzeentch, and Grand Cathay, as well as some new units, because everybody loves free stuff. And the usual bug fixes and tweaks to the core game that always come with these patches. So what's your approach to these patches at the moment?
Okay, so I want to state this here. I love the way how communicated they've been this past year, especially with patches and telling us what they're doing and how they're doing and working. Like, this is the best communication that CA has been. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, ever since Three Kingdoms into Total Warhammer 3, now it's just like, damn, what structuring really did happen back did Sega really pound the hammer down on them to be like more absurd? Were they more assertive? I don't know, but I like the way how communicative they are now and how they're telling us what they're doing, how they're doing it, and so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and continue.
How are you figuring out what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it?
So right now, kind of the core of our strategy is something new to chew on. A new extra gubbin attached to something that already exists to give you a little bit more to play with. And how we arrive at what to do is primarily something that we figure out through the help of the PX team. That's the player experience team, whose job it is to go through all those conversations everywhere out there and distill that down into something digestible for us in design to read and go, we think we can solve this problem that lots of people are having.
Okay.
Or we see that a lot of people are happy about this thing and want to see more of it, or unhappy about this thing and want to see it improved. And those help inform us in a very qualitative way. Instead of, we can't just always go in our guts. We need some hard data, and PX are the perfect team for providing that to us.
All right.
Awesome. So the things that have come in the past, and in like 5.1, 5.2, etc., as well as 6.1, has that all come through from the PX team? Has that all been based on the feedback that they've gathered for you, or do you often find things out in the wild world yourselves?
There's a couple things. We take things to PX as well, because we're all people, and we we see things, we read about our own game. I mean, you can't prevent yourself from going on your own forums at some point. And when we see something that really like jumps out to us, we like to sneakily go to PX and go, hey, do you have any more info on this? Because I might have an idea. And some of the things have come from our side of the pond as well on that front. I think, for example, the Deeps was very much a Mitch-led. This was something he was excited about. This was something he really wanted to do. But of course, we funnel it through the appropriate channels anyway. There's a process to everything.
Awesome.
All right.
Looking forward, now that 6.1 is out there, is there anything you guys have already got planned for 6.2, or anything else that you're looking at for future?
You know, the day when Total War somehow brings in dedicated servers is a day I would just be ecstatic and happy. Or, matter of fact, the day whenever they do, what is it called? Take away that, y'all know when y'all play multiplayer campaigns. So the only reason I barely play multiplayer campaigns with friends is that whole your teammate is making a decision. It just ruins the entire experience. But I hope that in the future sometimes, or within the next Total War game, they start to implement stuff like that.
So at the moment, of course, seeing as this is being recorded before the release of 6.1, it's a little bit early to say exactly what we're doing in 6.2. We're still in the ideation phase on that. I can talk some broad strokes, though. Up until this point, we've been thinking a lot about what little extra gubbins can we add for you. But for 6.2, what we'd like to do is take that focus and bring it down to what core game system can we do some improvements for. And some examples of what we think about when we say that is things like, can we improve the situation around ancillaries for everyone? This was something that we originally wanted to do in 5.3, but we weren't happy enough with the result to put that out there yet. Some other things that are hot topics, especially because this is something that the PX team have been telling us about, is people are talking a lot about control, people are talking a lot about corruption, and that there's a lot of strong opinions on that. And that is something that we are considering right now. I think
we need that Elizabeth change.
It is too early for us to say exactly how we'll approach it because it's a very volatile space. It's a big core system shared with all the factions in the game. And we have a lot of ideas. We know, for example, that when we moved to Warhammer 3, we changed corruption entirely from the system where it was a percentage division inside the province to having this more tabulated, you have a set specific discrete number that can go to 100.
Yeah.
And we did that originally because we had this consistent complaint of people really don't like it when they can't remove all the corruption in the province. They really like to wipe the slate clean, have no corruption.
Yeah.
But now we have
You're not wrong.
A different problem where a little bit of corruption can really snowball to 0 or to 100 very easily. And that's something that's a topic where we're having a lot of discussions on this, whether how do we solve this? Do we want to solve this? And that's why I think it's a bit too early to give specifics, but these are the kinds of topics we're talking about right now. And I don't think we can put anything out there until we're quite happy with it, because it's such a core system. So we're going to have to be really sure about this one.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. No, that's a good approach. I don't know where you'll obviously be in your thought process for this, but maybe this will prompt people to give us a bit more feedback on that specific topic, and maybe we'll get some valuable stuff out of it from there. So we'll have to wait and see. People may recognize your name from the 6.1 dev blog that went out just before 6.1. So obviously you did a lot of work on that, including the fantastic unit card placeholders, which was
yeah.
I can't think of the word, Will, but
it's a crime.
It was artistic crimes.
Crime, I think is the word.
Fair enough.
Hey, those are great. What if those actually made it to the game?
Are there any kind of?
You should be able to select those as an April Fool's kind of thing. I don't know.
Particularly are proud of that you'd want to talk about?
I think So when we were concepting a lot of the work for 6.1, there was definitely one feature, I think, above all else, that kind of really got the mental juices flowing. It was when we were talking about how do we do atamans. And atamans, of course,
okay, those
are provincial governors, and so they're meant to emphasize the power of interior Kislev. And as we went through a lot of different variations on what can an ataman do, we came to this idea of what if an ataman lets you take a settlement, left-click it, and then right-click an enemy army nearby and have the settlement attack the army.
Yeah.
And this idea of having a settlement attack an army instead of an army attack a settlement, which is the usual Total War flow, just immediately everyone who was talking about this, eyes up.
I mean, with that concept, you can technically already do that, you know? I've yet to try Kid Sleep in 6.1, but like, I'm guessing what happens is that there's a certain radius that settlement can go out and attack or whatnot. That's what I'm guessing. So if that's the case, it makes sense.
That's an interesting idea. That's fun.
Right now, I'm playing Zeech.
The moment we knew we had that, we couldn't stop chasing that dream, essentially, and it's a big technical challenge to achieve, but it was simply too interesting for us to let it go once we caught onto that idea.
Thanks, Will. That's really awesome. From one round of big changes with the refreshes from 6.1 and the future in 6.2, to another side that we're actually working on, which is campaign AI changes. Now, we've just recently run a beta on Steam, which has actually just finished. We're looking at the feedback now. We have another one that's going to be coming up in the near future. And this has been headed up by Rado in Sofia. So I'm just going to bring him back. I didn't even have to click my fingers. I'm that good. But yes, Radoslav here has been heading up the project for this campaign AI beta. We've just finished one of the rounds of the beta and are looking at the feedback at the moment, and we do have another round coming in the near future. So if you missed out on the first one, don't fret. There will be another opportunity to try out some of these changes. So Rado, for those who haven't actually seen much about this campaign AI beta yet, what is this initiative? What's the kind of top level of what you are looking to do here?
So the main goal of the beta this time around is to present the community with our latest efforts in addressing some of the more prevalent feedback around the campaign AI. Most of the changes are centered around the AI's passivity, and since the AI is a very fundamental part of the game and it feeds into a lot of different things like game difficulty and so on, we decided to kind of approach it a bit more cautiously, and we decided to go with the beta branch to not suddenly introduce this massive of a change to all users.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. A really good way to let the players kind of have their say, I suppose, in this process. Are there any highlights or any particular things within that beta that you want to call out that you're particularly excited about or proud of?
So the highlight change of this beta has to do with the campaign AI's ability to recognize when it's being threatened by foreign forces. We discovered a rather fundamental issue with the way AI just looks at the world, and we found out that one of the rather fundamental assumptions of the AI around when it's being invaded and when hostile forces are present in its territory was just kind of wrong. And the AI was finding itself in situations where it thought it was being assaulted by enemy forces, when in reality, all that was happening was foreign agents were just making incursions into the AI's territory.
But my thing with that is, so I just recently got done playing my Arbok campaign, right? What really makes the campaign break for me is the simple fact that in my campaign, the Empire was getting massive. Like, they were steamrolling AI, right? But then the AI, especially when it was like, your Chaos Brethren and whatnot, right? They're still like Wolfrin and what do you call Wintertooth, right? They were attacking me still, while at the same time, the Empire, Espeth and Carl, were pushing out to our territory. So it's like, when you say both their armies sitting right next to each other, and they just by the turn time, right? They just walk past it, nothing happens. It's so basically, what's that word I'm looking for? Meta breaking, I guess. It's not the right word, but you kind of get what I'm saying here. I'm just like, that kind of AI stuff is just weird. I think they really need to. I guess it's the anti-player bias that's kicking in there. I don't know, but yeah, that's definitely it's the immersion. There, got to look at the immersion of it just breaks for me.
Caused it to fall into this rather defensive posture, and it started prioritizing consolidating its forces, making sure all its settlements are garrisoned, and this really robbed it of opportunities to be aggressive and do other things in the game. So like resolving this issue has been a real standout for us.
Awesome. Can people expect quite a kind of big difference in how things play out as a result of this beta?
Generally, the the overall AI's behavior isn't that different. This tackles a particular set of circumstances where the AI really just completely focuses on defense, but the frequency of this behavior can vary wildly between campaigns. So I expect that in certain playthroughs, like, players will notice a very big difference, and in other playthroughs the difference might not be so large.
This is something that we've struggled with a lot in the past with when it comes to working with the AI. Is there's such a huge variance in events, whether depending on what the player is doing, depending on what the hundreds of other factions are doing, and the AI's decision making is very complex and layered. So it's easy to, or rather, it's difficult to.
I mean, they say it's complex, but
high-level trends quickly.
the AI says, "Where's the player at?"
Games being played, and that's one of the great roles of something like the beta, is letting us get lots of information distilled down into a real player experience.
Awesome. That's really good to get that insight into it, really. So for the people at home who may or may not have already been on the last beta and are hoping to get in on the next beta, what can the players do to help support you guys in this initiative?
Frankly, the best way anyone in the community can help us out is just tell us your honest feelings. This is the most important thing for us. We understand that there might be further issues. There are, many different combinations of difficulty levels and legendary logs that you can play. So no feedback is, worth more or less. Just being open and honest with how you feel about the game is the best thing for us, because it really allows us to understand how you feel, understand what really bothers you, what can we improve. That's the biggest focus for us.
Brilliant. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Rado, for all that insight into that. So, yep, like we said, there will be another beta starting soon if you did miss out on the first round. So don't fret, just keep an eye out for more information on that in the near future. Now let's move on to another topic of discussion, which I'm sure a lot of you are going to be very excited to hear about, which of course is what's next for Total War Warhammer 3 DLC. So just like our previous DLCs that we've put out over the last couple of years, this will be another 3 Lord pack.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to do things a bit differently now. We're not going to bombard you with all of this information, punch you in the face with it straight away with all of that info.
But I like that, though.
Today we're going to reveal the first of the 3 factions, and Vasil's going to help me with that. So, Vasil, what can you tell us about what's next for Total War Warhammer 3's DLC?
Actually, I'd be quite interested seeing people guess this online and observe their excitement as much as we're excited to develop it and later on release this DLC. Some guess right, some guess wrong. For the next DLC, we've prepared, as you mentioned, 3 Legendary Lords and also 1 free Legendary Lord. And the first one that we're going to reveal today is Dechala, the Denied One.
What's her name? Dechala.
We mispronounced Decala's name throughout
the
rest of our interview. So instead of Dechala, please imagine we are saying Dechala.
Dechala.
Okay, so Dechala for Slaanesh.
I remember thinking they said Dechala. Like Black Panther coming to the game.
About her? Who is she and how does she play?
Yeah, so she's shrouded in mystery a little bit. She has been marked by Slaanesh, leaving her severely mutated, shedding her previous form. With her being right now a snake-like creature with many arms, and in each one holding a deadly
Isn't it like the first Legendary Lord that's like a snake-like in the game?
She's gonna play much the theme of Slaanesh, of speed and damage and destruction. So she's gonna be able to quickly get in and out of battle.
Get in, get out.
Bodies and devastation behind her. Also able to flank on the battlefield very efficiently. And in that sense, she's going to be a very versatile and deadly warrior.
Interesting stuff. Can you give us a bit of insight into maybe a couple of units that will be coming in her roster? Maybe how they fit into the lore there?
As always, I think I'll keep the most interesting things for myself for now. But I can share a few units of the Slaanesh roster. One of the units, it's called the Champion of Slaanesh. The Champion of Slaanesh looks very much like Dechala. He is a snake-like creature with also many hands, but not as many as she has.
Wait. So if they're adding in snake-like creatures, right? Does that mean that they're opening up in Koresh? Because in that area, that's where they have... Okay, hold on. I had to click in that. I had to click in my head like that.
The
Wait a minute.
champions of Slaanesh are known to be one of the
They
most
have to open up that
fiercest
area.
chosen warriors for Slaanesh that deal a lot of damage and
I just
destruction.
hope also they
Much
adding in the
similar to
crash.
Dechala, but not in the same scale, of course. They have multiple hands, each hand armed with a weapon, a sword, and they will circle around the battlefield in support and deal a ton of damage wherever they go. So another unit that we're planning to introduce are the Pleasure Seekers. They're a demonic cavalry, which present a demonette on a demonic steed.
Okay.
The demonic steed will provide the necessary speed and additional
On a snake,
power
yeah.
that the demonettes don't quite have
Or
right
a horse.
now. So
snake.
they're going to be incredibly punchy in battle, going into
Seahorse
encounters
snake?
quick
Something, I don't
and
know shit.
leaving them with the same speed, dealing a lot of damage in their wake and moving into different places efficiently. They're going to be efficient in flanking, they're going to be efficient in charges, they're going to be an all-rounder quick unit for people to enjoy. We're still not quite there with the implementation, as this video is recorded early, but we're expecting to see them in their full glory quite soon.
So what more can you tell us about Dechala's faction and the kind of associated faction mechanics?
So we've tried to be faithful to what Dechala is and represent her as such in the game, and she is the leader of one of the most fiercest warbands under Slaaneshi's followers, and that's the Tormentors. The Tormentors roam around the world and leave destruction in their wake, in their
So is it the Horde faction?
excess, in their search for the better life for themselves, and that applies the most to Dechala. She wants the best pleasures and feelings for herself. She wants the best experience for her own life. And for that reason, she uses her powers to dominate the opponents around her and to dominate the enemies that she manages to defeat across the world. These subjugated enemies help the Tormentors and the Dechala live their opulent lives that they've used to, and we're going to try to reproduce exactly this in terms of the destruction that she causes, the effects that she applies to settlements around the world, and how she uses her enemies for her own gains and her own benefits.
In regards to Slaanesh as a race, what more are we going to expect to see in the kind of free race rework? Is there anything that's coming in that's going to play into this?
So I'll be honest in this question, and we have to be cautious of how we approach it, as we've discussed many things about Slaanesh. Currently, Nakari is the only available legendary lord for Slaanesh, and we want to distinct him from the other lords that we're going to add with the DLC. And with that distinction, we're looking into the content of Slaanesh as it exists right now, tailored a bit more towards what Nakari presents.
I think also because Nakari is the only lord for Slaanesh, the Dechala and probably the free legendary lord are both going to be Slaanesh for they have at least 3. That makes any sense
in comparison to, let's say, Dechala. So we're looking into tweaking and modifying things for Slaanesh, like technology trees, skills, and things like that. But beyond this, it's early in development to promise anything, and I don't want to mislead anyone. And for that reason, I'll be more broad and say that we're looking into everything Slaanesh and try to achieve the best result for Dechala, Ankari, and the mystery legendary lord that we've not yet revealed.
Talking, of course, about Ankari and Dechala, both of them have these strong overtones of they defeat their enemies, and then in some way their enemy is then made their puppet or under their control. But what is the key difference between the two approaches, or you're playing Ankari versus when you're playing Dechala?
That's actually a pretty good question. It's very much on point. They both indeed control their enemies in some form or fashion, although the difference here comes from where Ankari uses seduction. He uses his demonic influence in order to appeal to his victims. Dechala is a bit more forceful. She dominates her victims with the help of an elixir of sorts.
Okay.
And we are going to represent that in her faction mechanic, as she's going to be using more forceful methods in order to use the people that she manages to enthrall.
Okay.
And rather than Ankari's softer, I guess, quotes and quotes, that can be compared with.
Nice. Good question. I'm gonna have to rein you in a bit. You're gonna steal my job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vasil, for all that information. So there you have it. The first of your 3 new legendary lords coming in the next Total War Warhammer 3 DLC. We will be shining a light on the others in the future, so keep an eye out for more information. Do let us know who you think they could be in the comments, or head over to the CA community or Total War Discord, get involved in the discussion, and yeah, we'll see if any of you get it right.
All right, so with that said, the video is pretty much over with. But with that said, though, so if they're telling us about the DLC and stuff now, what that means is that we're probably, let's see, it is currently April, about to be hit April, right? We're probably not going to get this DLC until maybe early July, I would like to say, if they're still in the works of it. August at the earliest, but definitely considering July. But nah, I really like that, again, that they're taking action, they're being more upfront with us, and they're showcasing, content that's coming out for us and stuff, while also at the same time working on newer Total War experience. So it's actually pretty insane that they're working on both Total War and also more, more other games and stuff. So it's, it's interesting of sorts. Let me know what y'all think about Dechala, though. Like I said, I feel as though she or they are going to be an amazing legendary lord, especially since they're adding in, she's like a snake-like creature. So that means that she's probably going to start in either in the area of Kingdom of Koresh and End or whatnot. So that means that there might be opening up that section over there, hopefully, right? And on top of that, if this all goes well, there might be 1 or 2 more DLC packs where they're going to be adding in the actual Kingdom of End and Koresh, because they'll have newer models, with the snakes like and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be cool. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of this video. Definitely do that. If y'all enjoyed, please consider liking, subscribing, hit the notification bell down below to notify on any other future video that I do up Total War. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for your support and all that you guys do. And I'll see y'all for the next one. Peace out, much love, and have a good one, y'all. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also hit the bell notification down below. Thanks for watching.